What is up, party people? Happy Wednesday. A lot of stuff to get to today. Pretty excited about it. Got a great call from a listener who lost his mind. I think you guys will enjoy it. Full of hate and anger, piss and vinegar.
The best kind.
It is the best kind. And also emotion that is ridiculous. It's not just the left, by the way, that has emotion, although the left has lost their blanking mind. I'm not going to lie to you. The left is woohoo. But there's a lot of emotion out there. I'm not a super emotional guy. I've never been an emotional guy. Like, when it comes to, like you're playing sports, it's different. You have emotion in that. You should have some. Your kids, things like that. I mean, that's different, like human emotions. But with a lot of other stuff, I'm like, like what? Especially stuff that is in so many ways out of your hands. And a lot of people are scared. I've always put it down to that there are a lot of people out there that are scared. Life is different. Life has changed. It feels uncomfortable. There's like 1,000 things that you can talk about when it comes to why people have emotions, and they see this. And the perfect example is, with what's going on, with the Doge, right? People freak out about that, and oh my God, and they're going to do this, and they're coming to take that. Trump's battling the judges. And that, by the way, I'm going to tell you this right now. That is a lot of noise. So it's a lot of noise. It's part of the theatrics that go along. The base feels good about it. You guys get excited about it. The fact is, they've not tried to impeach a judge for a ruling they didn't like in forever. And you don't even have the votes. And even Trump came last. Everybody else talking about it. Last night with Laura Ingraham, he's kind of like he's throwing some cold water. And it's like, that's other things. Without the vote. Because he realizes it's distracting. And if we're going to get to this point where they all judge shop, which many of you even talked about, yeah, we do that. We'd love to have biased judge, right? We'd like to have a robot that didn't have to get elected, that was perfect, that didn't make mistakes, that only saw this, we don't. They're humans. They're going to make mistakes. They're also humans, and they're going to rule in things the way that they see it, based on their interpretation. And this isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. I understand that, because it's part of the game that is being played. Remember, all of this, and I've been saying this for how long? Since I've started here. Many of you growl. I can't believe you'd say that. These things are all meant to be thrown out there, put out there as fast as possible, and yes, eventually shot down by the powers that be, because it's about getting to the Supreme Court. That includes USAID and, immigration and all of that stuff. It's always meant to get to the oracles. The faster you get there, the quicker you get a ruling, the better it's going to be.
The dispute is escalating as the administration insists the judge's demands for details about the deportation flights amount to continued intrusions into the prerogatives of the executive branch. Judge James Boasberg says he now needs to determine whether his orders have been deliberately flouted and, quote, what the consequences should be. He's given the administration until tomorrow to decide whether to provide answers to his questions or to invoke the rarely used state secrets privilege meant to protect military matters from being made public in court.
So what the latest thing is, which I find actually kind of fascinating, is it's all about when did the plane leave? When didn't it leave? Then I heard something brought up which was kind of interesting. They were over the Gulf of America. Well, is that international airspace? Because it's not the Gulf of America anymore. So that was another interesting thing. Well, now, here's what it was. And this is the way that they're going to spin it. This isn't so much a battle about whether or not he has the rights to do some of these things. Was there due process, and do we know everything about these people that are on there? You're telling me that they're bad people. Okay, then you can supply some of the gangster stuff. These other people over here that you said left afterwards, because the third plane was on the ground apparently when the orders had come down, but the Trump administration said actually those guys in there, they were a threat to us. So that's why their stuff's classified. Okay. Because that's what he's able to do. Due process, talk about it, it's fine. It's not whether or not he has the right to do it. That's going to be sussed out later on. This is about the people on it. And this battle's going to go on, and the quicker he gets through this, Trump, the quicker it gets to the Supreme Court. And I think he will win there. Even though Chief Justice Roberts came out yesterday and said something, I think Trump's going to win there. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see one or two, yes, even the liberal justices on the side, because despite what most people think, most rulings are 8-1, 9-0. Very rarely are they that split and divided. It's just a few issues that everybody talks about. So this will be very interesting as we move forward on this. And we got some crazy fun stuff today because I like that. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Me or Ken?
Well, obviously, Ken's awesome.
That makes sense.
Because it's Ken. But how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Checks in the mail.
Thank you very much, sir. How you doing, Ken? You doing good?
I'm doing all right.
Hey, what was that thing I heard? Because I was going to bring that in today. So they're going to be allowed to use cameras if the proprietors who own all this stuff around here allow the police to get to the cameras, right, without getting a warrant.
Well, that was before. So what happened is the Metro Police Department, I want to say about a year ago, wanted to contract with a company called Fusus.
Yes.
Which is a technology by which local businesses would be able to allow police to access their surveillance video feeds in order to solve crimes. Well, a majority of the council pushed back because they were worried about privacy issues. So what happened last night is the Metro Council approved guidelines before any contract is signed with a company like Fusus. So these guidelines say that police would not be able to access footage from inside private homes.
Okay.
The only access they will have will be to cameras, let's say, in multifamily areas, in common areas of apartment complexes, like parking lots, that sort of thing.
So, like, if there's like some place where people can go and it's a swimming pool, or where people go out and just hang out and smoke or do whatever, they can access those.
Yes. Now, before they do, though, there has to be an emergency, and police will have to log every time and why every time they do access that video surveillance.
Okay.
So this just kind of puts some guidelines in. These will be the guidelines that police will have to follow if and when there is a company like Fusus that comes up and wants to contract, or rather, if Metro Police wants to contract with a company like Fusus in the future.
Here's my thing with somebody like Fusus. Who owns them?
Yeah, that's...
I want to know who owns you, number one. I want to know who you support, because let's be real, in many of these cases, you know this as well as I, somebody somewhere's got somebody on the board that somebody knows, and I'd like to know those things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. We had this issue similar to this out in Arizona, where they wanted to put it basically downtown, and where everybody parties and stuff like that, do all these kind of things, and come to find out, it's somebody's uncle's on the board, and this, that, it's in these fat contracts roll in, and it's crony capitalism at its best, and they're not, yes, they've got a business, but you get these places into big cities like this because people. So this will be, and they can't use AI. Is that what they said?
Yeah, the other issue is they cannot use AI to read people's lips.
Oh. Can you use an interpreter? Is that it? I don't know. That's weird. You can't use AI to read people's lips.
Yeah, that's what this report in the Tennessean says.
The future.
The future. What can we do to slow it down? And at the same time,
DeLorean. Get a DeLorean. And a flux capacitor.
I'm curious again. There's always the battle with this because is it privacy? Is it not privacy? It's the same kind of thing when you go to somebody's house and you're in you're a police officer. You're there for something else, and you see we go through all of these things, but we've also, for us as human beings, how many things have we opted into? It's no big deal. And should you have a right to, we don't have CCTV like they do in New York and stuff like, Europe, it was there 30 years ago when I was there. There was CCTV, not like it is now. You can't go anywhere now. I mean, it's like the police force is a guy in a room with a bunch of televisions. So this will be some interesting stuff happening. I saw there was a guy that said his drink was spiked downtown on Broadway.
That's weird.
A guy, right?
It's Broadway. You got to be on your toes in Broadway. I hate to say it. But
Well, you don't normally think a guy's going to have his drink spiked.
we don't know how good looking the guy is.
That's true, but I don't think his wife. Maybe it was her. Huh? Why do we always
Yeah.
we always look at the spouse if it's a dude.
Yeah.
Never look at the wife.
Yeah.
So what happened to him? Did he wake up somewhere he didn't know where he was?
No, I think some people caught him. It was just weird. I was reading because a lot of people are on the lookout for this, as you should be.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's nuts, and the cojones to spike somebody's drink is just so weird. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Especially in the day and age of social media and
Yes.
cameras.
Everybody's got their
everywhere.
phone out. Even if
Yeah.
they're not filming you for filming you, they're filming you.
You can be in the background of any film and be
Say it. I
gonna
want
have
you
a
to do it.
stroke here. Criminated. Criminated?
Criminated?
No,
Yeah. Man, that guy was
criminalized?
criminated.
What's the word? Oh God.
Incriminated?
Yes. God.
Yeah, no,
My,
you say it.
I can't. My brain is like malfunctioning right now.
Say it.
Incriminating.
There you go.
I did it.
You tried.
It's kind of like
Good Lord.
strategery.
Strategery. That's a lockbox.
Even Biden had I don't think Biden had that bad of a brain aneurysm than I just did.
Well, are you tired?
A little bit.
Okay. Hot date last night?
Yes.
All right.
Right on.
Way to go, Brother Jay.
She's truly amazing.
Really?
Wow,
So you might
man.
see her again, huh?
Oh, I'm seeing her again. That's 100% happening.
All right.
All
And how do we
right.
meet her?
You don't.
No, how? Not us. How did you? Yeah, because we'll take her from you just for a laugh.
Stay away. No, you'll scare her off is what I'm worried about.
Yeah, we're like, dude, you should run from this guy. He's unstable.
No. Nope, never mind.
No. How did you meet her?
So we met online to Classic.
Classic.
Happened. Because you can't meet someone organically anymore. That just doesn't exist.
No, because it's uncomfortable. I'd like to say hi,
Well-
but I'm afraid you're gonna shoot me with pepper spray and then file rape charges.
Or just post me on TikTok and embarrass me in front of everybody, or
Oh,
make it go
that's true.
viral. There's always there's always these things that can happen, the worst case scenarios. And usually these worst case scenarios are just being rejected. That I can take. But embarrassing me, putting it on social media, that is another story all in itself.
Yeah, but
But
you know what? You play it up well.
It's all how you react.
It's all,
Well,
it's so how you react.
I'm just happy I met her. That's all I'm care about.
If we learn nothing from Kim Kardashian's video, it's how you react
Good.
You got that,
that
right.
pays
Goodness gracious.
for the future.
Well, and look what happened to Ray J. He's
That's
doing
right.
hamburger joint commercials.
Hey, Ray J, let me tell you something. I love my Raycons. That's Ray J.
That's right.
There you guys go.
He's doing all right, man.
He's doing all right for himself. Coming up, a lot of stuff to get to. We got more on the judges, the craziness for Elon. A crazy story about a director who totally scammed money from Netflix. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is like that Fry Festival.
It is. By the way, did you hear about the
Or no,
latest on
Fire
that one?
Festival.
Fire Festival? Did you hear
Yeah.
the latest on that one?
No.
Mexico's like, we have no idea. We don't even know if the place they said exists.
Sounds
It's
about
not
right.
hard to rent a space.
No.
It's not. My goodness me. Coming up, lots of stuff. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Omaha Steaks. Omaha Steaks, baby. 50% off right now. Site-wide, semi-annual sale. Use my code Benson, 30 extra bucks off. Do you want fillets wrapped in bacon? They've got those. Top sirloins? Absolutely. Surf and turf. Do you want to make your own? So this is what I got for myself because I love their pork chops. Pork chops are hard, right? But their pork chops are so insane. Polynesian pork chops. Incredible. Chicken breast, burgers, dogs, you name it, they've got it all. And it is 50% off. 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. Omaha Steaks, this is what they do. This is all they've done since 1917, America's Butcher. So if you're unhappy and you're like, I don't know if I really like this, they'll give you money back, no questions asked. You're going to love it. Your tummy's going to love it. Your waistline, It's incredible, though. The taste is awesome. 50% off site-wide, omahasteaks.com. Use code Benson. Extra $30 off at checkout. omahasteaks.com. Use code Benson.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
All right, drivers, still seeing a medical emergency blocking the left shoulder of 24 westbound at I-440, and a federal judge giving the Trump administration another day to answer his questions about those deportation flights. That's coming up at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
10 months after the assassination of JFK, the Warren Commission concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. 6 decades later, newly declassified documents have hit the internet.
Is there going to be something that shockingly proves what happened? I sort of doubt that.
Jeff Morley blogs about the Kennedy case, and as badly as he wants the new records to point to a smoking gun that wasn't in Lee Harvey Oswald's hands,
I'll believe it when I see it.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything there. I think if it really was the CIA, they're not like the FBI. The FBI, I was telling Chris, they take everything, they keep everything, they chronicle everything. The CIA is burn. We follow no rules. Burn. So do you really think, do you think for a second that, first of all, how many people would have to know if they were going to plan something like that? Well, how do you keep people quiet? If there's 5 of you and you all know a secret, 1 kills 4. You don't allow. If you got to think about it. The last thing I would want to know is be brought in on something like that, even if I was a super CIA, one of those spy. No chance. I mean, if you could kill the president, if you could mastermind that, then you're just a person. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything there. What I do think is there is an embarrassment. I think they knew a lot from the time he went in, this guy, the Russians the Soviets at the time made fun of him because he was a bad shot, said that over and over again. He had said he wanted to kill, and everybody's like, this guy's an idiot. Yeah, I think people knew there was something, but they never thought he had the wherewithal to pull it off. Now, could there be other people involved? That's always a possibility. But I think the CIA just thought, this guy's an idiot. Right? He's down in Mexico. He's gone over, to Russia. They just thought, he's no way. No way he could pull anything like that off. And they were probably going, uh-oh. So I think it's embarrassment. Now, the MLK stuff, totally different. I think that is going to be way uglier. Way uglier. And, we always talk about, can we learn from the past? Well, 9/11 happened. And what happened? Well, we found out that there was a lot of pieces to put the puzzle together, but nobody ever did it. Well, if you go back to JFK, I think we're going to find the same thing. That's probably what I think would come out of this is, CIA knew a lot. The FBI knew a lot. If you put it together, could they have prevented it? Maybe. But nobody talks. Nobody does. And it's funny, when I ever watch the CIA's, you guys being interviewed, especially the retired ones, they always say, no, I don't trust the FBI. And nobody trusts you. So imagine what that's like. It's like Putin and Trump having a conversation. Do you think anything yesterday, those guys trust each other at all? Do you think they're both looking at each other laughing, going, I told him we're going to stop bombing the electricity plants. Oh, it is I don't know where this is the way I look at stuff when it comes to things like politics. Immigration, fixing it. Well, fixing the border was a 100-meter dash, right? Getting people out of here, refixing it across the board, that's a marathon. Hell, that's an ultra marathon with an Ironman in the middle of it. USAID, bureaucracy and all that, that's a double ultra marathon. That's one of those ones that David Goggins runs. If you guys know who he is. Jeff looked at me. You know who David Goggins is? You could use a little David Goggins in your life. He is he's a guy who wanted to be a Navy SEAL. He went in, he was super fat. They told him, you got to lose all this weight. I think in like 3 months, he lost like 100 pounds, and now he just yells at the camera.
I know him. I've seen him.
You ever see him? He's always jogging, and his wife's like next to him in the car, and he looks over and he goes, F you, get out and move.
I haven't seen that. I've seen him on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he's interesting. But that's what the bureaucracy is. And we're going to talk a bit about that. And again, the messenger is the reason the left hates what's going on with all that's happening in the world of Doge. Talk about that, some more on Trump, Elon, wackiness, and a call that you guys are going to, I think, laugh at. Jeff is very excited. KGB is very excited about the call. We'll probably do that next. You will love it.
I'm so ready.
It's the kind of love that'll make you smile. Plus, we've got some of, Ken's favorite. We got crazy people again today, Ken.
Excelente.
Angry callers are the best callers.
Angry callers are the best callers. People say, how do you do calls? I will tell you guys how you can. I have a call line that you can call and leave messages on. That's it. That's what it's there for. And it's funny. And I tell Jeff, I've usually only pulled the crazy people like that you're yelling at me. Not crazy like, woohoo, there's a few of those. But the crazy people that are just angry. And you could hear their emotion.
Like they could do better things with their lives.
You would think. So we'll talk about that straight ahead. A bunch of other stuff. Chat, Benson Show. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Super Talk 99.7.
$12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Tracking the potential for severe weather tonight. The window looks to be starting around 5 o'clock this afternoon up until midnight, but the risk for severe weather is on the lowest level, a 1 out of 5. Got it full forecast in 5 minutes. D.C.-based federal judge who ordered the Trump administration to turn around deportation flights says he's giving the Justice Department until tomorrow to comply with demands for information about the flights and how many other alleged Venezuelan gang members may be subject to the president's use of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. The judge says he needs to determine whether his orders have been deliberately flouted and whether he should impose consequences, says Stephen Portnoy.
Increasingly, this is shaping up to be a dispute between the executive and judicial branches that's destined to land at the Supreme Court. The administration insists Judge James Boasberg can't pry into the president's handling of Venezuelan gang members, whom he's deemed to be part of a foreign terrorist organization. The judge says that since immigrant rights advocates have filed suit, he needs more information about the way the administration has handled the matter to determine whether it has acted within the law.
President Trump said in a social media post after his phone call with President Zelensky, he said they are very much on track, and he described it as a very good phone call, talking about negotiations to end the war in Ukraine. This was the first time the two leaders spoke since their explosive meeting in the Oval Office last month. Trump said much of the conversation with Zelensky was based on his call with Putin on Tuesday in order to, quote, align both Russia and Ukraine in terms of their requests and needs. The president did not provide details of what was discussed, saying he would leave that to Secretary of State Marco Rubio and National Security Advisor Michael Waltz to provide. Meanwhile, in Gaza,
there was about a 3 or 4 year old girl with a bunch of shrapnel wounds all over her face and her head. She couldn't breathe properly and her pulse was thready and she was going to die and there was nothing we could do about it. So I had to just tell her dad that there was nothing we could do. She's going to die.
That's Dr. Feroz Sidwa. He's a trauma surgeon volunteering at Gaza's Khan Yunis Hospital who says they had hundreds of patients flooding the ER within a half hour of the resumed Israeli airstrikes after Hamas refused to release all of the hostages as part of that ceasefire. And the NAACP is the latest to sue the Trump administration over plans to gut the Department of Education. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
All right, kids. Busy bee. It was great having her in here singing yesterday. She's a busy bee. Let me tell you something. They're awesome. If you've got issues with your HVAC, busy bee. If you've got issues with your plumbing, busy bee. If you've got issues with both, busy bee. Join the famous Beehive Club. They'll come out, give you an inspection twice a year. And by the way, that pays for joining the club. And what the club gives you is discounts. On top of that, it also puts you at the top of the line when things go wrong. Maybe you need a new repipe. Oh, that could be a nightmare. Busy Bee's got you handled. Maybe you're saying to yourself, man, my HVAC, I'm not quite sure it's going to handle. It just got through the winter. I don't know if it's ready for the summer. Don't let that happen to you. Maybe you just need to have somebody come check it. You look at your air duct and everything, or maybe you need a whole new system. They'll take care of you big time. So whether you're thinking HVAC, plumbing, or both, Busy Bee has you covered. That's why they're busy, and being around you is important. Join the Beehive Club today. Call them, 775-7833, 775-7833, or check them out online at busybeehvac.com. Oh, man, I like it. Rock and roll, yeah. By the way, Ken, somebody just sent this in. Are you ready for this? I'm going to give you my my traffic.
All right.
Got a vehicle versus motorcycle Bell Road around Home Depot and Interstate 24. Keep an eye on it. There you go.
What?
There's a vehicle versus motorcycle. What do you think the winner is?
Probably the vehicle,
I would assume so.
unless the vehicle is a bicycle.
Right on. Forgot about that. And then it would be a nightmare.
But I'm sure it's probably a car, truck, or van.
Yeah, and that is Bell Road, right around Home Depot, Interstate 24. Keep an eye on it.
Yep.
That's what they're telling you.
Let me look at it right here.
Look at that. He's going to look at it right quick.
Yeah, there it is. Bell Road, just west of Cane Ridge.
There you go, just west of Cane Ridge. One of our...
Ken Weaver coming in clutch again.
No, that's Eye in the Sky. That gives it to Ken.
No, I'm still giving it credit to Ken.
Somebody said David Groggins. Who's going to carry the boats? Oh, some people think the Dixie Mafia killed MLK for J. Edgar. That I think we're going to find out a lot about that, because when you go and look at like the travels afterward, before, you know, like this whole thing, that's going to be embarrassment. You know, when they unload all that insanity on everybody. Remember, you're supposed to trust the FBI. The FBI, the Red Scare. All the stuff that they did back in the day. Not quite sure we trust them like we should. Oh, look
and someone says trust the FBI.
You've got a button. Another texter. Last night, Matt hosted an event. He emceed an event. Shout out to Clay and Buck show. They were there.
That wasn't entirely true. He just ran onto the stage and they just let him talk.
He emceed it, and everybody said he was really, really good. So there you go.
I still believe he just ran onto the stage, uninvited.
He was joking last night. He kind of looked at me. He's like, I feel like I'm just going to go, here's somebody, and just walk off and keep going.
No, mid-walk. Like, here's Clay Travis, and keeps walking.
Have fun, everybody. Have fun.
Here's Clay Travis.
Last night, Donald Trump, you guys are familiar with him, President of the United States of America. He was on with Laura Ingraham. You know, she used to clerk for Justice Thomas. So she was she's an interesting character. And my technical producer, used to produce her show in D.C., and she's an interesting character indeed. But a lot of it had to do with, again, impeachment of judges, stuff like this.
Essentially, impeachment was for very rare circumstances and not an appropriate response to rulings you disagree with. What's your reaction to the courts stepping in to make a statement here? They didn't make a statement when Joe Biden, decided to forgive all those student loans.
Well, he didn't mention my name in the statement. I just saw it quickly. He didn't mention my name, but many people have called for his impeachment, the impeachment of this judge. I don't know who the judge is, but he's radical left. He was Obama appointed. And he actually said we shouldn't be able to take criminals, killers, murderers, horrible, the worst people, gang members, gang leaders, that we shouldn't be allowed to take them out of our country. Well, that's a presidential job. That's not for a local judge to be making that determination.
But he also went on to say he's not going to go against what a judge has to say. He threw some cold water. Because he understands, look, for all the things, Trump, he can be blustery, you know what? The hyperbole with Trump and pretty much any politician nowadays, it can all be there. There's no doubt about that. But he also understands, and he values the Constitution despite what some people say. And so he realizes this is all about getting to the Supreme Court. This is what this is about. How can we get to the Supreme Court? Now, yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw this, they released a video about their new app. And I was surprised, first of all. It's the CBP, remember the CBP One app? This is the Home app, which is, again, very interesting. Trump at the Resolute desk, very resolute in doing this, making this announcement. They put a little music under it, too.
People in our country illegally can self-deport the easy way, or they can get deported the hard way, and that's not pleasant. The Biden administration exploited the CBP One app to allow more than 1 million aliens to illegally enter the United States. Now my administration is launching the CBP Home app.
I love the home. It's a home app. So if you're sitting at home, I don't know who this is for, who's sitting there watching Judge Judy or Judge Joe Brown going, you know what? We should download the Home app. Do you have to pee on a stick? I don't know what you have to do. Oh, it says I'm here illegally.
So instead of a pregnancy test, it is a I'm here illegally test.
Yeah, people, it's exactly like that. So, oh, geez, I'm here illegally. What are you going to do?
It turned blue. Oh, wait. Oh, no.
So you can download the app. And what I love about this, you can tell Trump's reading in the video, but you can also tell when he goes off script because, they're just like, okay, follow the words. It's going to be easy. We only got 35 seconds of music or whatever.
To give people in our country illegally an easy way to leave now and self-deport voluntarily. If they do, they could potentially have the opportunity to return legally at some point in the future. But if they do not avail themselves of this opportunity, then they will be found, they will be deported, and they will never be admitted again to the United States, ever again. You're never coming in.
Ever. You're never coming back. Don't even think about coming back. Don't even ever dream of it.
Using the CBP Home app to leave the United States voluntarily is the safest option for illegal aliens, our law enforcement. It also saves the U.S. taxpayer dollars and valuable CBP and ICE resources. And all of those resources are necessary to focus on dangerous criminal aliens. And that's what we're focused on. The CBP Home app is now available free across all mobile app stores, and I encourage those who have violated our laws to use this option today. Do it right and come back into our country. Do it wrong and you'll never be back again.
So that's what they put out there. And the reason is simple. All of this stuff, even those 3 flights, that was meant to send a message. The message is that's how bad it can be. You may not be going there. You may not be going to that place, but we're going to deport you. You may be from Chile, and you shouldn't be here, but you may end up in Guatemala. You're out. So you need to leave now while the getting's good, and maybe you'll have a chance. This is all about self-deportation. That's what this whole thing is about. He's not defying anything the judges are saying. He's following the rules. Despite the constitutional crisis, he's following the rules. He has the right to do this. He's following the rules. He understands. He doesn't want to be the things they accuse him of being. He likes it when they freak out. And now we can debate, did the planes leave on time? Didn't they leave on time? And look, there is a serious question about due process because there's more than a few people out there going, no, that person wasn't a part of this or wasn't a part of that. Well, we're going to find out, I think, eventually. And that's what the judge is asking him. Who were these people? Now, were they bad dudes? I bet many of them were. We screwed up with Gitmo. If you guys didn't hear, remember when they sent all those people down to Gitmo? Well, not everybody there should have been there. So we've got to do it right. But this is about the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is you're going to leave on your own. Especially the bad dudes. You're going to leave on your own or else. It is going to be ugly. It is going to be bad. You're going to be stuck in a prison where you don't know how long. That may even be worse. If you're in a prison like that and you have no idea how long you're going to be there, no idea how to get a hold of anybody, if anybody can ever get a hold of you again, just kind of, throwing away the key. That may absolutely be worse. But that's what so much of this is about. Let's get to the Supreme Court, but watch me get people to leave on their own. And it is happening. When he became president, we did it, I think it was like the first or second week. When he wasn't even president, he was president-elect. It was early January when we were talking about Southern California, how a bunch of people were contacting the Filipino consulate saying, we're leaving. Because we want to be able to come back. And many of them had already had visas, but they had expired. They had 6-month work visas, and they came, they overstayed them. But they wanted to be able to come back because the fear was they were going to get caught. They understood, okay, this is what's going to happen. That's it. And hey, take the Home app. I almost want to download it. Do I pee on a stick? What happens? Oh, I don't know. I'm thinking, should I play it here? Should I not play it here?
We did promote it.
Okay, all right. This is a person, though. And I tell you guys, the emotions, everybody has them, right and left. The left tends to have them a lot more, but the right can be angry too. And I'm a big guy. I love the Constitution. I think the Constitution's it's the greatest love letter ever written to anybody, and it was written to millions of us. This guy doesn't quite understand that. And
is there cursing?
I already beeped him.
Okay, good.
There was 2 of them. I had to make sure I double-checked.
I was going to guess over under, but you, okay.
Okay, here we go.
Chad, there are some nights where you're a real good DJ on the radio waves, but then there are some nights when you're absolutely horrible, like tonight.
By the way, I'm not a DJ, so let you guys know that.
What day was it?
It was yesterday.
Okay.
So he was I'm not a DJ.
Yeah, I got a problem with you tonight, buddy. Those Venezuelan gang members have no business being here in America. They have flat out invaded our country, and yes, that is an act of war. And Donald Trump is doing the right thing by getting them out of here. You sending out mixed signals saying, yep, I want them out of here, yet the Constitution has a right to do its thing too? No, it doesn't. In certain instances, no, it doesn't. You need to stop with the mixed signals and just flat out say you're with Trump or you're not. You see, that's what makes me think you're a libtard. A stupid, dumb libtard. Bro, get your act together. You're either with us or in America or you're not. If you're not, then get the out of this country yourself, you moron.
Wow.
Yeah. By the way, people, you don't get to suspend the Constitution when you want to. Constitution was put there to protect us and the picking and choosing of the things because you feel you have the right to do it. And there are ways of going about doing certain things. Angry. Do I want them out? Of course I want them out. Duh. Do I want it done right? Yeah, and so should you. By the way, many of you who said, I didn't like the way that the January 6th people were handled. You didn't like that. You didn't think they had due process. Some of these people are here totally illegally. They're gotaways. Get out of here. Bye-bye. Some of them are absolutely have been committed crimes. You can get them out asylum-wise. Some of them have their due process still in front of them because they've applied for asylum and they haven't committed crimes. We need to do it right because that's what we do. That's who we are. That separates us. And when somebody says Trump should be able to stand over the Constitution, that's wrong. That should never happen. He was fun.
With us or against us?
With us or against us. Oh, settle down there. Hey, you're a good DJ. Well, I'm going to spend 40 minutes of nonstop talk coming up here in a little bit.
Let me go find the cassette tapes.
Some yacht rock straight ahead, everybody. A little Boss Skaggs for you. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Bulwark Capital tomorrow, my buddy Zach Abraham, 5:30 our time, doing a live webinar. If you're investing, if you are headed towards retirement, if you're saying to yourself, I'm not quite sure what to do, I've got a cookie cutter situation, don't really understand, I need somebody to help me with this. This is what it's all about. You want to talk about diversity. You want to talk about protecting yourself. You want to talk about being with somebody who's an active manager who isn't one of these people that's like, I only buy, they sell. They have many different things they do. This is what it's all about with Bulwark Capital. They're doing a live webinar. It's the first 100-day webinar. It's about 45 minutes. They're going to show you what Bulwark's all about. Lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility, give you the most upside potential. Check it out. It is 5:30 tomorrow night. It's not going to cost you anything but about 45 minutes of your time. And you can sign up today by going to that is KNOW, yourriskradio.com, knowyourriskradio.com for their live webinar with Bulwark Capital and my buddy Zach Abraham tomorrow night, 5:30. That is the 20th of March. That's tomorrow. That's Thursday. So I want to let everybody know that, 5:30. So sign up for it now. Investment advisory services are offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involve risk, not a guarantee. Past performance, not guarantee future results. Trek 25137.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
All right, drivers, that crash on Bell Road west of Cane Ridge Road is really backing things up either side of I-24, especially if you're trying to get to I-24. That's going to slow you down. Metro Council has approved a set of guidelines for police to follow to access security camera footage as a tool to fight crime. And a mystery in Madison. Woman calling police after finding a white X painted on her car. That's up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Federal prosecutors say Carl Eric Rinch told Netflix the $44 million they paid him was not enough to complete a streaming series, so Netflix wired him an additional $11 million. Almost immediately, the feds say Rinch invested that money. 10 months later, he bought cryptocurrency. That proved to be lucrative. Rinch allegedly bought 5 Rolls Royces and a Ferrari. But what he did not do was deliver the streaming series or repay Netflix. A grand jury here has indicted him on 7 federal counts, including wire fraud and money laundering.
Man. And you made money. Yeah, this is crazy. And he is, he's done some big stuff. He got into Dogecoin and several other things. He blew $4 million on a bike. Man, he bought a lot of stuff. How many Rolls Royces do you need? Just again, I'm not a car guy.
Yeah.
But how many Rolls Royces does one person need? You got 5 of them?
I want
6.
I want as many as I can get before they lock me up.
So the series was going to be called White Horse, and it was renamed Conquest. They want $12 million. I don't even know what it's about. Did he even shoot anything?
Probably not.
I don't think anybody knows.
I don't think so either. So it's supposed to be a Netflix series that is a sci-fi drama. And he's done a couple big movies, too. This is not like some guy that's like totally... He did the 47 Ronin, which I love that.
Oh, was that with...
Keanu?
Yeah.
It's where John Wick... I love Keanu, but he kind of plays the same character and everything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He gets a pass for being the best human being in Hollywood.
The best. Have you seen the new trailer came out today for Ballerina?
No.
You know what Ballerina is?
I know what a ballerina is.
It is a spin-off of the Wick movies. It's
with the
lady
girl.
that Angelica Houston.
Yeah.
It's one of her students, and she's a badass, and they send John Wick to get her.
Did he, spoiler alert, didn't he die in the last one?
I don't think so. He also did the movie The Gift and several
Got
others.
Mail?
Dying with Agnes.
Check him out in a movie called Bad Batch.
Who?
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, no way. People keep asking if I'm back. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Also, it's kind of an underground movie. The Matrix is good.
That's a pretty good movie, too. Bill and Ted was great. Very good. Coming up, second hour of the program. Listening to the show, grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, drivers, that crash on Bell Road west of Cane Ridge Road has things backed up either side of I-24 there. So that means if you're trying to access 24 from there, you're going to be waiting for a bit. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Metro Council's approved a set of guidelines for when police access security camera footage to help fight crime. These are boundaries that say police cannot look at footage from inside private homes, and only footage of common areas or parking lots at multifamily places like apartment complexes can be accessed, and police cannot use AI to read people's lips. Now, these guidelines will be used if and when the council takes up contracting with companies like Fusus, which Metro Police wanted to, but the council rejected over privacy concerns when there were no guidelines in place. A mystery in Madison. A woman telling Channel 4 she called police when she noticed a white X painted on her windshield recently.
I noticed it before I even got to press the button.
Before she could even unlock her car, Natasha Reynolds says she spotted this white X drawn on her back windshield.
I took a picture of it. I tried to scrape it off. It didn't come off.
She says panic shot through her body, so she posted the picture to the Nashville Girls Group and called 911.
And there are other girls who have had similar things happen.
Metro Police say they're looking into what those markers mean. Here's Stephen Portnoy in our nation's capital. He's covering the rift between the Trump administration, the federal judge who ordered deportation flights be turned around.
The dispute is escalating as the administration insists the judge's demands for details about the deportation flights amount to continued intrusions into the prerogatives of the executive branch. Judge James Boasberg says he now needs to determine whether his orders have been deliberately flouted and, quote, what the consequences should be. He's given the administration until tomorrow to decide whether to provide answers to his questions or to invoke the rarely used state secrets privilege meant to protect military matters from being made public in court.
And Karen Travers tells what President Trump has to say after his phone call with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky this morning.
President Trump, in a social media post after his phone call with President Zelensky, said, quote, "We are very much on track." He described it as a very good phone call. This was the first time the two leaders spoke since their explosive meeting in the Oval Office last month. The president said much of the conversation was based on his call with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday in order to, quote, align both Russia and Ukraine in terms of their requests and needs. The president didn't provide more details of what was discussed, saying he would leave that to Secretary of State Marco Rubio and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz to provide.
And this just in. The Federal Reserve has left a key interest rate unchanged as it waits to see how President Trump's expanding trade war and mass federal firings affect the economy. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
I'm doing the dance. It's my thunderstruck dance.
There's a thunderstruck dance?
There is now.
I thought it's just headbanging until you get it.
It is a lot of that. I'm not going to lie to you. They don't really dance. They're not a good dancing band, if that's what you're asking.
Angus does the Chuck Berry.
He does.
And he does it for about 4 or 5 miles a show, or used to back in the day.
How's his voice now, you think?
Angus, he doesn't have a voice.
He never really had a voice.
I mean, all he would do is, oi, oi, oi.
They said he was a lullaby. I asked Brian if he wanted to. He was in a band called the Valentines. I said, do you want to join? And then they went to Brian. Brian's like, yeah, I thought I'd join for the band Valentines.
But even that's just like, even Thunderstruck, it looks like it just rips the vocal cords.
You know what?
Song.
When I go and do his voice, because I can do a good Brian Johnson, but it hurts. Like, you got to really build that up.
Yeah.
That's not something. And if you've ever heard him really sing when he was with that band, the Valentines, he's got like he did have a nice voice. He parties a little hard, is what I'm trying to tell everybody.
He's got pipes.
He's got some pipes.
He's got that. He had that growl. I mean, the older he's gotten, it's I'm sure it's difficult for him on some of those songs, but with Back in Black, man, what a great transition from Bond to Brian.
That was fantastic. I mean, somebody asked yesterday, there's the people who love Bond. You can love both, by the way.
Sure.
He didn't kill Bon Scott.
No. Bond killed Bon Scott.
Bond killed Bon Scott. That was something that was always going to happen. And by the way, Bond's mother saved AC/DC. For those of you guys who don't know, they were, just a little side note here, because somebody called me a DJ earlier, so I might as well have a little music fun. They were going to disband. They were done. And the mother of Bon Scott came out and said, he wouldn't have wanted you to do that.
Yeah.
And her very little...
She seemed like a sweet lady, man. She was just
How the hell did you raise that guy?
What a hellraiser Bond was, man.
They like to party, is what I'm trying to tell everybody. Elon Musk, for those of you not keeping score, he's the messenger. And the message, by the way, for the most part, is message that's fairly obvious. We spend too much money. We waste too much money. And I said from the beginning of this, and I got a lot of slings and arrows from people out there. Oh, you're bad. You can't say stuff like that. He's going to be able to do all these things. I said, no, he's running up against a force that is... you want to know what the deep state is? The sneaky guys in the shadows and stuff like that. Are there some people out there that, yes, I'm sure there is, but it's bureaucracy. It is the NGOs. It is crony capitalism. It is all of those things. That is the deep state. It's entrenched. It is essentially legalized money laundering. Nobody wants to give up their piece of the pie. That includes the unions. And I said... the federal unions, he's going to have an easier time getting to Mars than he is fighting these unions at times. And that's showing to be true. Yesterday, another order came down. Says, nah, you can't do this.
So essentially what the judge is saying here is that Elon Musk's attempts to unilaterally dismantle USAID likely violated the Constitution. And essentially that obviously, as it relates to Elon, but also any of his employees, those Doge employees who helped dismantling them.
Any of those Doge employees. Now, everybody, I got a bunch of texts yesterday. They can't do this. He's allowed to do this. Kennedy set it up. Actually, Kennedy set it up, but then they reorganized it like a year later. And Congress got involved. And there are things you have to do. It goes back to the Constitution. There are things that you must abide by. And Congress, I'm looking at you, and this goes for both sides of the aisle. You guys have given away your power over and over again. And you've given it to agencies, and you've given it to donors, and you've allowed them to make the rules, and you've worried more about what some people say online than actually doing the job you're supposed to do. And it really pisses me off that you guys are like jellyfish. Zero spines, except at least jellyfish have tentacles that can sting you. You do none of those things. You don't. If you want to change this, you should have been out there. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter what it is. Immigration. How many times did both sides whine about immigration, yet when they had the House and the Senate, they did nothing? Waste has been around forever and a day. Yet now that it's being called out because we can't afford it anymore. That's the other thing. The messenger, people hate because of who he is. If he was a nameless, faceless bureaucrat working behind closed doors that was a nerd, that still lived with his mom and barely had a pot to piss in, people feel more comfortable. Both sides agree there's waste. Both sides agree there's a whole bunch of abuse. But I don't like the messenger. This guy's a meanie. And that's a lot of what this is, too. He's a meanie.
Now, what's important here is what the judge says. It's unclear what implications this will have long term, but what the judge did do is that for any current USAID employees or those on administrative leave, the judge says that essentially the email, payment, security notification, and all other electronic systems, I'm quoting from him here, need to be reinstated. So again, while the judge did rebuke, of course, Musk's role within the Trump administration and his role with Doge in dismantling unilaterally USAID, it's really not clear exactly the implications of this decision, and the operations of USAID remain unclear at this point.
Translation, we have no idea. They're going to get their phones back. They're going to get their emails back. They're going to get that. What role they have, I couldn't tell you what role they have. I don't think they know. But we need to fix the problem. And the problem has to be addressed, and it won't be. And here's the thing. 5 years from now, when they go, guess what, guys? Remember when we said we were going to go broke? Well, we went broke. Why didn't you tell us? Oh, we did tell you. But the minute we brought anything up, everybody screamed and yelled, so we just said, let's stay off that. We have to address these things. If you're 20, if you're 30, if you're 40, if you're 50, do not count on Social Security. Don't. You better count on yourself. So you're not, if you get it, it's a great surprise because nobody wants to actually address any of the true issues. Government loves to lobby government. It's not about whether or not you're doing a good job. It's about whether or not you've got your job and you're able to play the game and you're able to give stuff out to your friends and you're able to feel like you're a champion because that's what the media's made you out to be. All the while, you have, and I'm going to call him, he's a douche canoe. Tim Walz, if you guys don't know who he is, he was going to hopefully be vice president, but America spoke up and said, no, thank you.
Saying on my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone, they've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So, and if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off, and take out, just telling you.
You're a clown. You're an absolute clown. And that's not even fair. I like clowns. You're not even, you're the worst type of person. You're cheering stock falling. 121,000 people as of beginning of the year work for Tesla in the U.S. You're fine with them going bankrupt and losing all your money. You're fine with them. But a civil servant? Oh, we wouldn't want that. Oh. That right there is the perfect example of such ridiculousness that lives in this world of politics of nothing but emotion. I'm going to get everybody to cheer. That's a brave thing to say. Rather than say, look, we have a disagreement. I think we both want the same thing. We want the government to be solvent. We want to get out of this massive debt, but it's not about that. And Congress, you're quiet. You know why? Because you want Elon to do the hard stuff, which is your job. You're the purse strings. You are. You know some of this stuff because I've talked to several of you. You know he doesn't have the power to do it, and you know it's going to be challenged. And you know that they're going to lose in court. But if he does it, he's the bad guy. So I don't have to worry about it. If he does it, it's him. Because that would be a tough decision. I mean, my goodness, you see how terrified some of these guys are and gals to go to these town halls? And yes, there are some paid agitators there, a bunch of idiots. I get that. There's a lot of people that are worried. But you know what? You owe them the truth. Truth is, we've been spending so much money, like $2 trillion more than we take in. And apparently that can't go on forever. But you like the fact that they're going after him. You like the fact that it's him, not you. That they could say he's the richest man in the world. They could say this. They could do that. You love that fact because it's not you that would have to actually speak up. It's not you that would actually have to do something on the record. You know, they went after Massey a couple weeks ago, which is not the first time, by the way. Trump went after him before. Because when they wanted to close the government and everything for, you know, the PPE and giving out all that money, he wanted everybody to come in. Why? Because he wanted everybody to be on the record when they're voting for all of this money. Be on the record, be right there. Let's all vote on it. Spineless. You're glad that he's taking the heat. You're glad that this happened. Oh, you feel bad and you say, oh, I think it's domestic terrorism when they go and do all kinds of stuff like this, blah-de-blah-de-blah.
Protesting Musk is also a little less violent. Tesla owners have put stickers over the logo, and this morning Tesla stock opens another 5% lower, heading toward a 9th straight weekly drop.
And you're cheering that on. Something's got to give. It will last until it doesn't. And Congress, you should be ashamed of yourself, both the right and the left. Both of you spend like it's going out of style. Our CR, continuing resolution, oh, I thought that was going to be less. No, instead, it's actually more money, but there's more money going towards defense, and they cut out other things. We have to be honest. We have to tighten our belts. We're going to have to. Some of these programs, even some of them that, because they're all about feel-good programs for a lot of these things, always about the kids. Some of them aren't going to work. We got to get rid of them. And some of those big defense contracts, we're going to have to cut some of those things back. But you don't want to say those things because to say those things, to be on the record is, well, it's essentially a death knell in the political world. So instead, you continue to lie. And you're glad that the agencies have done your work for a long time and you've kind of given their power over to them. And you're glad that Elon is taking the slings and arrows when he's trying to cut things. Because could you imagine a congressperson? You guys are all, you're behind it now because you think, well, Trump's doing it and Elon's doing it. But how many of these people, these guys and gals out there who've been there for decades, have always talked about, you need to get rid of the Department of Education. It's a waste of space, blah. You didn't have the wherewithal to try to do it for real, the strength to put it out there. Oh, few did. Few have stood by their thing. You know, they've stood on their ground. They've planted that, but very few. It's good. It's good to talk about. And then on the other side, the left is useless. You guys are awful. You got a bunch of people. I was telling Chris, there's a lady. She's an elderly lady. She's flipping off a person in a Cybertruck. She's mad at a person in a Cybertruck who bought a truck from a person she's never met. And she's mad at that person. And that person's going, I didn't meet this person. You don't even know what their politics are. And you're mad at that person because you're unhinged. Absolutely unhinged. Elon, it's easier to go to Mars than to put up with this crap. Coming up, a lot of stuff still to get to today. Oh, my Lord. We got some interesting things coming up that'll make you laugh, that'll make you smile, that'll make your heart warm. Maybe that's true or not. Maybe it's not.
It's also a sign of a heart attack.
If you smile?
Your heart warms.
Oh, okay. It's odd. You're an odd person.
I am, but that's why you love me.
That is it. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 98.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9. All of these incredible things packed into an amazing supplement you give your dog. You do it once a day. Put it on top of your dog's food. It's that simple. They have meow greens as well, so if you have a cat, you can do this. But they're doing a 90-day challenge. And in the 90 days, all they ask you to do is 1 scoop a day, top of your dog's food, watch what happens. Within the first 30 days, You'll notice the coat thicker, shinier. It's look good. Energy levels up. By day 30, you're going to see a marked improvement in their immune system. Their energy level is still going to be up, and the aches and pains, their joints, more mobile. By day 90, fur is going to be awesome, not shedding. Their immune system's strong, their heart health up, and yes, lots of mobility. Why? Because you've added live enzymes inside that dead food, which is dog food. Try a Jumpstart trial bag now. It is a $20 value, absolutely free. They just ask you to cover the cost of shipping and take the 90-day challenge with Rough Greens. RUFFgreens.com. That's roughgreens.com. Go there now. Take the 90-day challenge with Rough Greens. Roughgreens.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
The White House says President Trump has moved beyond just a minerals deal with Ukraine. That story and more coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
There we go. Huh? Look at that. You okay? All right there. Maybe thought you were having a heart attack.
I've already had 2 this week.
There you go. Fantastic. Dogs to make you feel better.
For 3 years in a row now, the French Bulldog sits atop the list of the most popular dog breeds in the country. The AKC's Brandy Munyon telling Good Morning America one reason why is that they're portable.
They're highly adaptable. They're good in small spaces. They are love bugs. They just want to be with you most of the time, and I think that's what really attracts people to them.
Number 2 dog on the list is a breed that's way more energetic than a Frenchie, the Labrador Retriever. And the 3rd most popular dog in the country is the family favorite, the Golden Retriever.
You know how expensive those Frenchies are? They're expensive. I mean, you can find some cheap breeders out there, but if you're getting kind of serious about it, you're going to spend $4, $5, $6 grand. Some people spend a lot more than that. And they're French, so they're different than the regular bulldog, which is the British bulldog. I love British bulldogs, the English, but the problem is they have nothing but problems. They have sleep apnea, which is weird.
They should call the sleep apnea solutions.
They have really bad allergies. Their skin, but they're so cool. They're so cool, and they do not listen. They're very much like Winston Churchill. But the French bulldog rolls over rather quickly. Now, if you want to talk about dogs, are you guys ready for this one? Put this in your newscast, Ken.
All right.
It's one of one. Was sold February. Cost $5.7 million. It is a dog. An Indian dog enthusiast bought it. It is a Caucasian shepherd crossed with an actual wolf. It's like science. And it's huge.
Look, I love dogs. $7 million, though.
So, and it's interesting because it's only a few months old and it's already 165 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting crossed with a wolf.
It is. So
it's beautiful.
They said it has not only the size of a wolf and a German shepherd, but it has the smarts of a German shepherd and the want to protect. So this Indian guy, had bought it. Now, he also spent $3 million on a chow chow that looks like a panda bear.
Don't you wish you had that much money to blow?
Yeah,
I wonder how they did that.
I don't know either. I have no idea. So he has a bunch of breeds. So what he does, he used to be a big breeder in India, and now he goes out and he essentially rents his services to people that want to take selfies and see these dogs. These are all one-of-a-kind dogs. He's got lots of them. And he charges like $12,000 for a couple hours. So that's how he pays for this, apparently. He's got each one of them have a 20 by 20 room. And they live on a 7-acre farm. And there are 6 people that look after all these dogs, taking care of them. The hell are you doing where you can spend that kind of, like, you didn't buy a Komodo dragon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's you didn't buy the one of one. This is the last one on Earth. Well, this is the only one. And it is creepy looking, but it's cool looking as well because it looks like a wolf in the face, but it also kind of looks like a German shepherd. 165 pounds, like a few months old. What the hell are you thinking?
It's going to be a big dog.
I love dogs. We've got 2 dogs at home. They're just, Bowie and Red. Red is my wife's dog, and that thing it's one of those little dogs that it's super designer, right? It's so designer. And we got Bowie because my daughter she was little, and we had a cat that Red loved, and he died. And so we go, let's get him a little dog friend. So my daughter walked over at the little pound place, grabbed this dog out of all the dogs, and they've been inseparable since. And he's not much bigger. And his brains, we're still looking for him.
Little Bowie. Named after the late David Bowie.
Named after the late David Bowie. That's right. His name was Bowie when we got him because the lady named him, like, one of the dogs. His little brother's was Ziggy. The other one was Stardust. She went right over.
So she made a band.
She made a band. She did. She made a band out of one man is what happened there. Coming up, we got some stuff on Israel. Man, it is getting ugly, ugly, ugly over there. And not everybody in Israel, by the way, is happy about a lot of what is going on because Netanyahu's got a lot of pressure on him. And it's understandable. I mean, he has a lot of pressure because they think you don't want to get our people back. You just want to prolong this for as long as possible. Talk a bit about that, a bunch of other wacky, fun stuff as well, because we're not all serious here. Sometimes we can go in another direction. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes, and the White House says President Trump suggests that the U.S. help run Ukraine's nuclear power plants, moving beyond just a minerals deal. Here's Selena Wang.
This is the first call we know of between Trump and Zelensky since that very public confrontation, that spat in the Oval Office just a few weeks ago. Now, we're still waiting on the official readout, but President Trump did make a short post on social media saying that the call was good and that things are still on track. But at this moment, we don't know where that U.S. and Ukrainian-backed 30-day ceasefire currently stands.
Well, Patrick Reeville is doing some follow-up after Russian President Vladimir Putin agreed to a 30-day ceasefire with Ukraine on energy and infrastructure.
Despite that, there were reports at least of one strike on a railway power facility, as well as also in another city in the east where power was lost. I think what we're hearing from the Ukrainians is, because of this sort of thing, this is exactly why now they need to pin down a clear list of targets that cannot be struck by Russia. They say that they are going to give the Russians a list of specific locations that will be energy as well as other civilian infrastructure.
Israel has begun a new ground campaign in Gaza after resuming airstrikes yesterday because Hamas refuses to release all of the hostages. Money news back here at home. Brian Clark.
The Federal Reserve left interest rates unchanged as expected, but still believes they will go down by 0.5 percentage point this year. That would likely mean 2 quarter-point cuts. The Fed's Open Market Committee did note uncertainty as it reduced projected growth this year while increasing expectations for inflation.
Right now in Tennessee, Chattanooga has its first surrender of an infant at their safe haven baby box, which lets parents in crisis safely and anonymously leave their newborns without fear of prosecution under state law. The baby was left at Chattanooga's Fire Station 6, and firefighters there say the baby's alive and healthy. There are now 12 safe haven baby box locations in Tennessee, 284 across the country, and the hope is to have at least one baby box in each of Tennessee's 95 counties. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Beacon Capital Management. They have your retirement ready toolkit. Are you close to retirement? Maybe you're in retirement and you're getting a little worried, getting a little nervous. Well, Beacon has you covered. They're local. It's a great thing to do. Go there, break bread, as I like to say, shake hands. And what you do is you give them a call because they're like you. They want to make sure that you're in a good position. And a lot of people are getting worried because the last thing you want to do when you retire is unretire unless it's something you want to do. Don't let that happen to you. Call 615-488-9303 today to get your free retirement ready toolkit. No cost, no obligation, no high pressure. I'm not going to call you 5,000 times a day. When you do call them, they're going to get it out to you. You're going to get a money enough for life book, a retirement planning checklist, and a maximizing your retirement income white paper. You deserve to have the confidence to know that no matter what's going on in the economy, you've got a plan that keeps your financial goals in line with your priorities. Call them today. Get your free retirement ready toolkit. That's Beacon. 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303, or ask about everything they do and check them out online at askbeaconnow.com. It hasn't been talked about a lot today, and it should be. Yesterday, so we went and did this thing. It was great. And the Kings bowling was awesome last night, and it was just a great time. And then we went over to get a little something to eat at the mall because my kids were over there with my wife shopping and having some fun. And as we sat down, the spacecraft was landing in the water, and I thought, man, that's so cool. So we're all watching it. Because I said, how cool is this, right? Because they were up there forever.
As you can see there on your screen, continuing to monitor progress of the Dragon spacecraft. And we're going to stand by for splashdown located in the Gulf of America off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
There's dolphins swimming in there. The dolphins are like, hey, out of curiosity, this is our home, so treat it right, okay? Stop landing where we are.
Well, you see it with your own eyes. That spacecraft now safely in the water there. You can see the main chutes now settling into the water. The spacecraft, SpaceX Crew 9 return, as it's being called, 3 astronauts and a cosmonaut on board. And they will soon be surrounded by vessels and safely lifted aboard another vessel for the return home.
So they got her up, by the way. If you didn't see, Suni, they've been up there for a while. And when you're up there for a while, things start to happen to you. No matter how much you work out, you're going to have issues. She was Jell-O.
The body goes through so many changes while in space. The most well-known historically are the muscular and skeletal changes. You lose muscle mass and bone mass if you don't exercise. And now they're aware of that, right? So they perform these exercises.
Yeah, that's true. You didn't work out on Earth. You're not going to work out in space. Oh, geez, Chad. But this is the thing that's interesting because this happens when you're on an airplane. Now, it's nowhere near the same. But it has to do with your inner ear. And your inner ear adapts rather quickly in certain situations. And that's why have you ever noticed when you're flying, you can feel it slow down a little bit? You can feel it. When you're up there, your inner ear will adjust to certain things. And it's like, okay, this is the new normal.
When you're in microgravity, your inner ear, which controls balance, it recalibrates. And so once you're back on Earth, the slightest movement of your head sends you into a super dizzying state of mind.
So every time you turn your head, it can even happen in an elevator where you can get a little, like a seasick kind of thing. But this is obviously because she was floating around for 9 months. And then the fight that everybody got into it was, I think, Scott Kelly. So if you don't know who Scott Kelly is, so Mark Kelly is a senator, but he and his brother, they're twins. They both went to space together. And Scott Kelly, he was on the Fox after the 5 and said, that they had left him abandoned up there. And he's like, that's not true. Biden had him set up and blah, 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 blah. And well, why didn't you bring him down then? Well, we needed somebody to pilot. So they were up there. They were left up there. Yes. And Elon came out and said, we could have got him sooner, but politics. Well, they're back, and that's really all that matters.
Now, the question is, how are the Democrats going to spin this into making Elon a bad person?
They don't know what to do with this. It's perfect. There's a tweet out there where you've got Tim Walz, who's just a bloviating idiot, talking about how, great, it's crash it, he's a bad guy, blah, 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 blah. And at the same time, here is the SpaceX Dragon and everything coming down to Earth, bringing back the people that were up there, including a cosmonaut and everything. But, 2 weeks ago, he was an idiot, as one person said. He's the dumbest person on Earth. Obviously, he's not. Okay? That's obvious. He's not. Thank God. I don't know. Why is nobody talking about this? Did you hear this yesterday? Did you guys talk about it today with Dan? I'm going to play this for you. The Steve Bannon interview. Okay, so Steve Bannon was on with Chris Cuomo last night on News Nation. I watch a lot of News Nation. I like News Nation because there's if you're going to watch something, there's kind of down the middle as you can get. Yes, there you can see a little left, a little right, but it's nothing like compared to everybody else. And Cuomo had Steve Bannon on. And they were talking about 2028 because they already have the polls up for everything. And Bannon's name was mentioned in there. And he said this.
I'm a firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028. So I've already endorsed President Trump. A man like this comes along once every century if we're lucky. We've got him now. He's on fire, and I'm a huge supporter. Want to see him again in 2028.
And obviously, anybody who doesn't like what you say but judges it as a function of a lack of intelligence doesn't know anything about you. I don't make that mistake. You're a smart guy. You know he's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it. I think we'll have a couple of alternatives. Let's say that.
No. There's your alternative right there. No. It's not the way it works. It's in the Constitution. You get 2 terms. Period. Case closed. No. No chance. Sorry. And you know, first of all, it's a stupid idea. It's a horrible idea. Secondly, has anybody even asked Trump? First of all, you should say no right away. And Trump believes in the Constitution, despite what everybody thinks out there, including some people on the right. He does believe in it. It may frustrate him, but that's what it was there for, to frustrate everybody. So we didn't have the chaos and craziness of wild swings inside of our politics. But no chance should this happen.
I'm trying to think how he would be, like, if he did, like, hypothetical here, if he did get a 3rd term, wouldn't he be in his 90s by the end of it? Or close to it, at least?
He'd be like 87, 88.
That's too close to 90 to be president.
Yeah. If we lived to 150, it'd be a different thing.
Yeah.
But no, that can't happen. That is ridiculous. Was it Andy Ogles that tried to introduce a bill to get Trump a 3rd term?
It was someone from Tennessee, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was Andy Ogles?
Yes.
The thought, like Bannon. Now, Bannon trolls a lot of people. He says stuff. Afterwards, they had Bill O'Reilly and Stephen A. Smith on, and they were talking about it.
Okay, so that's a fantasy, and I don't really consider those kinds of things. It's not going to happen. Never will happen. It's not worth my time or your time. Donald Trump will serve out his 2nd term. Hopefully he'll be successful, and then J.D. Vance will run for president in 28 unless something happens. That's what's going to happen.
There you go. And they went to Stephen A. Smith, and he's right about this. You can't, especially somebody like Bannon, you're out there preaching all the stuff about the Constitution and this, that, and the other, which, you know, everybody uses the Constitution until it doesn't suit what they need, and then they want to figure out how to get around it and this, that, and the other. But the thought of a 3rd term, and we're working on it, I'm sorry, no.
It doesn't matter whether it's not going to happen. It matters that people on the right who preached for decades upon decades about following the Constitution suddenly come on national television and say there's nothing wrong with circumventing it. That's the issue. The 22nd Amendment says it, okay? It explicitly states in the Constitution that for the presidency, there will be a 2-term limit. No person shall serve more than 2 terms. They know this. Now, these are the same people that spent decades upon decades telling us the Constitution, the Constitution, the Constitution. We're going to follow the Constitution. But now that they've got a guy in office that they swear by, suddenly the rules don't apply. So I understand what you're saying when you're saying it's not going to happen. But to dismiss it and act like it means absolutely nothing. Well, I got news for you. The election ain't until 2028, okay? And it's going to mean a hell of a lot to a hell of a lot of millions of American citizens that people on the right who are supporters of Trump have absolutely no problem echoing and articulating and parroting that kind of speech that Steve Bannon just threw out there. I'm very alarmed at it, and I don't even think it's going to happen myself. But the gall, the audacity for him to come on national television and say such a thing, I think is incredibly alarming.
But it's also why he did it, because you think it's alarming and people out there are angry about it. It makes their head explode, as one person said. It makes liberals' heads explode. You know, look, what Steve Bannon, I've talked to him on several occasions. A guy's very smart. And would he want to look for a way potentially? Maybe. But a lot of it's still about trolling. But the thought process, and I'm with Stephen here, is to bring it up, again, shows you, what are you doing? And several people have chimed in. And it's funny, I wonder what kind of reaction we'll get. A lot of people are like, well, Obama got a 3rd term because, you know, all you need is an earpiece and stuff like that. Well, it didn't work, obviously. Nobody was listening. You know, and the other side of that, some people saying, well, it wasn't in the Constitution until 1951, but it's in there now. And on top of it being in there now, a lot of you are saying, no way. There's no chance this should happen. Zero chance this should happen. But you brought it up because, well, he likes to troll. That's kind of his jam. And, well, he does a good job of jamming. Meanwhile, Department of Education.
It's already impacting the work the Department of Education does, like creating the nation's report card, data from classrooms across the country. The administration has said it won't impact civil rights enforcement or financial aid, but we know people whose roles were tied directly to those functions have been fired or seen their work in some other way impacted, like civil rights offices in Dallas and New York and Boston closed.
That's right. That's where they're going with the Department of Education. It's a racist thing now.
What the NAACP has said is that in their view, because the administration didn't go through federal workforce protections, that's why, in their view, the firings are illegal. The administration disputes that. That is almost certainly going to be hammered out in court. On the other side of that, the administration cannot get rid of the Department of Education without an act of Congress.
Which is true. Without an act of Congress. And that's something like we talked about earlier. Even with USAID, as frustrating it is, and everybody's like, well, didn't Kennedy bring that in? Yes, but Congress went and they reorganized it and kind of, voted on it, put certain things in there. This goes back to what we've talked about with Congress and the fact that they're bought and sold. They should wear suits like they do when they race cars, where you have to have your sponsors all over it, so we know who's being sponsored by whom's sponsoring whom. Oh, you look at you. You got Halliburton over here. And you guys have the union, and both of you guys have financial companies. So we know exactly who we're dealing with. And if you ever want to go to a fascinating website to see where the money flows, Open Secrets is great. Because you can find out what industry gives, so this industry gives mostly to Democrats. This industry gives mostly to Republicans. Then you got a lot of industries, by the way, they don't care who's in charge. They've got enough money to curry favor. Because money will always search for power, and power needs money. They feed off each other. Somebody said term limits for Congress. Man, how great would that be?
Should have been done. It should have been done with the same when the president got his term limits. That's 22nd Amendment should have added Congress as well.
Yeah, that would have been great. That would have been so...
Who was the 90-year-old from California that was like, she had shingles and they had to drag her around and just tell her who to vote for?
Dianne Feinstein.
Yeah. After that, they should have been, all right, we need term limits here.
Well, there was a congressperson just died. She was in a home for like people who have specializes in dementia and stuff, and nobody knew. Nobody knew. What the hell is wrong? Could you imagine that if you went into your work today and you're like, where's the boss? I don't know.
Where's Chad? Oh,
I don't know. And for months, but somebody was still voting, somebody was still doing and part of that is also the people on the back end. They like to be around the power and they don't like giving that stuff up. So very frustrating. Indeed. Got some of your text messages. We got some fun stuff we're going to look at here because it can't just be all serious. My God, that was too darn serious. Let's have fun, shall we? We'll do that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Prize Picks right now. It's Madness of March going on. Major League Baseball's back. All of this stuff is happening, and your chance to play fantasy every single day and win up to 1,000 times your money with Prize Picks. The beauty of this is you're not choosing like point spreads or any of that stuff. You're saying to yourself, hey, I like this player. I know about this player. And is he going to get this many threes? Steph Curry going to get 5 threes tonight? Yes or no? Is LeBron James going to score more or less than 25.5 points? Yes or no? Up or down? That simple. When you play your first $5 lineup, you get $50 instantly, win or lose, right into your account. It's that simple. You just download the app, use my code CHAD. They've got tons of promos. Baseball season's here. Obviously, basketball's going on, and so many other things. I do really well with soccer. Not going to lie to you. Just throwing that out there. So do it now. Download the app, have some fun, and win some money with Prize Picks. Go to Prize Picks, download the app, use my code chat, get $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, that bonus right into your account. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be 21 and present in Tennessee. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee 1-800-889-9789.
No change to interest rates, and we've got an update on the deportation flights fight coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
They make a mess. They're talking about drills and fighting, and I don't approve of that.
There's no disputing the reason why two of the more popular businesses in this Flatbush, Brooklyn neighborhood are banning teens 18 and younger who are not accompanied by an adult. Last month, we told you about the McDonald's on Flatbush Avenue, which did just that during after-school hours, following the lead of the Target store right around the corner, which implemented a similar ban around the clock.
I was assaulted in this Target right here. These children nowadays, they're doing smoking and attacking people. They're, stealing things and going in pockets and cutting pocketbooks.
That right there is a story out of Brooklyn because they are starting now. Target is saying if you're under 18, you can't come in without a parent. Wow. Under 18, no parent.
Because they're going in there and fighting.
They're going in and they're doing they're making, the other thing they're doing is they're TikToking. Yeah. So they're going in there and they're grabbing all these things to do crazy TikToks.
Yeah.
It's not just the fight. It's crazy.
Are you saying they're not mature enough?
I am saying they're not mature enough.
Okay, good answer.
I am saying that. Because when we were young, we were stupid. But
we didn't have these devices.
No. God, much trouble. Have you ever think, Ken, every once in a while, like, oh my God, if that was ever on camera.
There are some moments in my life where I agree with that statement.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's the thing. The difference is we'd never wanted that on camera.
No. No, I don't believe we would have. I know I wouldn't have.
No, there's some people out there that they live for that.
Yeah, I was in certain circles.
I was around people that maybe did some things that would have brought shame to my family.
Everybody's got those friends, man.
Of course you do.
They know no consequence.
No, and their parents were never good with it. I had a friend named Rusty. Oh, God bless him. I got kicked out of school. He got kicked out of school. We both got kicked out of school at the same time. I was suspended for my mom, she wouldn't let me leave the house for like a year. Rusty got in trouble for the weekend. That was his mom. Like the guy he never knew a consequence. He'd get in trouble. His mom never did anything.
Yeah.
And then she married another rich guy, and she's like, oh, I just gave him the house. I'm like, good God. That guy failed up all the time.
Yeah.
So you did one thing wrong, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. But, yeah, he would be the one doing stupid things on camera. There's no doubt about that. Like fun things, and you goof around and people laugh at you. That's one thing. But the kids, even last night we were out, like a bunch of guys running around doing stupid stuff in the mall. We did some silly stuff, but they're doing it all for likes and clicks.
Right.
They're not doing it to impress anybody in front of them. It's all to impress people they will never meet.
Right.
Woo! Coming up, third hour of the program, people upset. Apparently, there's some JFK files that aren't released, and people are starting to notice these may be the crucial files. Oh, you mean the one that tells everybody who did it? We'll talk a little bit about that. And yes, Ken's got coming up because there has been a ruling, and there's some other stuff happening with flights and with Mahmoud Khalil. We'll talk about those things as well. If you missed any show, grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. The man with the power to raise or lower interest rates has spoken.
The Federal Reserve left interest rates unchanged as expected, but still believes they will go down by 0.5 percentage point this year. That would likely mean 2 quarter-point cuts. The Fed's Open Market Committee did note uncertainty as it reduced projected growth this year while increasing expectations for inflation.
As Brian Clark reporting, deportation flights fight the White House, pushing back on a D.C.-based federal judge who wants them stopped. and is giving the Trump administration one more day to comply with demands for information after his order to turn around 2 planes carrying alleged Venezuelan gang members on Saturday was not followed.
We don't have any flights planned specifically, but we will continue with the mass deportations. And I would just like to point out that the judge in this case is essentially trying to say that the president doesn't have the executive authority to deport foreign terrorists from our American soil.
Judge James Boasberg says he needs to determine whether his orders have been deliberately flouted and, quote, what the consequences should be. The White House says President Trump suggesting the U.S. help run Ukraine's nuclear power plants, moving beyond just a minerals deal. Meanwhile, Patrick Reevell following up on that proposed 30-day ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine on energy and infrastructure targets.
Already there'll be questions about what constitutes even energy infrastructure. Is it only power plants, or is it also, as we saw last night, railway facilities that have their own sort of power facilities connected to them? These are all questions that need to be done before a real ceasefire can start to happen.
Israel has begun a new ground campaign in Gaza after resuming airstrikes because Hamas refuses to release all of the hostages. And now we're hearing from a doctor volunteering at Khan Yunis Hospital in Gaza on the condition of some of the Palestinians they're seeing since those airstrikes overnight Monday.
People are coming in hungry, thirsty. There's no clean water anymore because Israel cut the water and electric supply, so the desalination plants can't even work. And that leads to the problems with human health that you can imagine. Kids have gastroenteritis all the time. We actually had a woman's heart stop in the ICU because her gastroenteritis was so bad that we couldn't keep up with her fluid requirements.
Got team coverage. Here's Jordana Miller in Jerusalem.
Tens of thousands of Israeli protesters filling the streets here in Jerusalem around the residence of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The protesters expressing outrage at Netanyahu's decision to resume the war in Gaza, accusing him of abandoning the 59 hostages. At stake are 24 living hostages, including one American. There's simply no way to guarantee they'll be protected from Israeli airstrikes or the vengeance of Hamas.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
You can text the program. We're on 4 places, soon to be 5. I hope. I keep saying that. We're on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. What's our Facebook?
I think it's just Super Talk WTN.
You never know. Like, are we WTN? Are we 99.7 WTN?
Just search the entire, do Super Talk 99.7 WTN, you'll find it.
Okay.
Pops
Just go
right
to
up.
YouTube.
Pops right up.
Okay, there you go. See? So go there. Check us out. Leave a message. You can text the program. Several of you have texted in. Last hour, we were talking about Steve Bannon saying that Trump's going to get a 3rd term, and that's who he's behind, which is ridiculous, and because of the whole amendment thing. The whole Constitution, that pesky Constitution. You pesky Constitution. Somebody says, do I love Trump? I think he truly wants what's best for our country, but I vehemently disagree with Bannon. Only amendment I support is term limits for Congress. I think we should all get behind that. Another person said, I say Trump could earn 2 consecutive terms. They stole the consecutive term that Trump surely would have had. That's a fact. Well, prove that in court, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't say 2 consecutive terms. It says 2 terms.
Grover Cleveland exists.
Grover, well not
used
anymore.
to exist.
Yeah, they asked him to leave when he died. Said, you got to leave.
You can't stay.
Can't go. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
That is correct, my friends. You don't have to go, but you can't stay here. So let us know what you think. No 2 terms on that. Sorry. Like back to back, but he had one in between that was broken up because it was stolen. No, you get 2 terms. That's it. You get 2 terms. How many terms? 2. That's it. The battle continues when it comes to what is happening with the judge, deportations, what happened with the flights, questions, as usual, gets a little contentious around there. Carolyn Levitt in the press, the media.
Can the administration provide any more details on how authorities determined that each of those men were in fact members of a gang? And if the White House can publish images, photos, videos of those men, why can't the administration just release basic information like their identities and names?
We are not going to reveal operational details about a counterterrorism operation, but what I can assure you, as I said on Monday, we have the highest degree of confidence in our ICE agents and our Customs and Border Patrol agents who have committed their lives to targeting illegal criminals in our country, particularly foreign terrorists, and they had great evidence and indication. They have the highest degree of professionalism, and they were 100% confident in the individuals that were sent home on these flights and in the president's executive authority to do that.
Follow up, I know in the last briefing you cited privacy concerns as a reason why the administration may not be able to reveal the identities. What exactly are the privacy rights of immigrants who were deported that the administration says were dangerous enough to be sent to El Salvador and sit in a prison?
Again, as I just said, we're not going to reveal the operational details of a counterterrorism operation for quite obvious reasons. We're trying to combat terrorism here in the United States of America.
Okay, so they're going to go with terrorism. Who are these people? That's what they're asking. The first 2 planes that left as this battle goes on, oh my God, these first 2 planes that left, they said they were over international waters. They couldn't bring it back. The 3rd plane was actually on the ground, and then it took off. But they said those guys were terrorists. So those were national security. The other ones were part of the gangs and whatnot. Now, Trump does this. He knew this was going to go this way. This was not a shock, just like what's going on with Elon Musk and everything. None of these things are a shock. They recognize these courts are going to, because you go, and we talk about it all the time, you judge shop. You go, you find a judge that you think is going to be sympathetic, give you the ruling you want, and if it's a big enough case, because it does, look, some cases we all recognize. Some cases it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to win. But for other cases, it's about the expediency of getting something stopped immediately and getting it eventually to the Supreme Court. And that's one of these things that is happening here. Trump's goal is mass repatriation of people on their own. We're self-deporting. We've had enough. The fear of what may happen to us, the fear of us being kicked out of the country, never having a chance to come in, the fear of that's so big that I'm going to leave on my own. So this is one of those things where when you hear them say, "Oh, these rogue judges, this, that, and the other," they're all. You don't think the right has the judges they go to when they know I need somebody to look at this the way that I do as an originalist. Oh yeah, you're going to go, and you're going to find the judge in the area. And you don't want the judge to be biased. You don't want the judge to be biased in a way where it's like, oh, I know he's going to give it to him because he owes me a favor. No, you want them to interpret the law the way that you see it. And I do believe once this gets to the Supreme Court, Trump's going to win. I think he's going to win this portion of it. It's no doubt. He's going to have some other issues, I think, with USAID and a lot of these other things because Congress is involved. And as we all know, Congress is spineless and they're not going to do anything. And what do you mean we got to do stuff? And they like the fact that Elon does a lot of the dirty work. Are there going to be more flights? That's interesting. I don't know if there's going to be more flights. Because remember, we're going to have flights every single day. You guys aren't. Because Trump he said, look, I'm not going to go against the judge. He may not like it. And he threw cold water on it. Let the attack dogs go out and do their thing. But you also run into a problem here where I don't think John Roberts should have said anything. That being said, let it be. Let it be. Because if you're going to go out and start challenging stuff of rulings you don't like, when you get rulings you do like, you now leave it open for the left to come out and say, well, hey, it's because of this. So just let it be. You're going to win in the big court, right? That's the thing that matters.
We don't have any flights planned specifically, but we will continue with the mass deportations. And I would just like to point out that the judge in this case is essentially trying to say that the president doesn't have the executive authority to deport foreign terrorists from our American soil.
Yeah. And I think he does. And this judge isn't so much asking the question. Yes, it's a portion of it, but asking, it's about who's on here. Did they have due process? Did some of them not have due process? Did some of them not have, they were here, you said they were part of a gang, they're saying they're not part of a gang, they're here, they've applied for asylum, their family, their wives, they have no idea where they are. Is some of that, because despite what you think, you may hate it, but throw them all out. Okay, whatever. We don't want to be the other side. We don't. You don't want to be the other side. You want to be the thing that they accuse you of being and the thing that they are. You want to get it right. We should, at least I'd hope so. I think as human beings, you'd want to get it right. You wouldn't want to stick somebody somewhere for a very long, well, they came here illegal. Yes, they did. So deport them. It's different between putting him in a hellhole for God knows how long. So deport him. And I think Trump's going to win. And like I say, that video he did yesterday or the other day that was released, which is, again, a very interesting video. And it's the Home app. So if you remember the CBP1 app, which is the one that Biden came up with, so you could apply and just wander across aimlessly and completely fine. It was almost like they gave you those, like a lei when you got across, like in Hawaii, like welcome to America. Well, it's the same thing, but this one's the exact opposite. This is the, hey, download this app and get the hell out of here.
People in our country illegally can self-deport the easy way, or they can get deported the hard way, and that's not pleasant. The Biden administration exploited the CBP1 app to allow more than 1 million aliens to illegally enter the United States. Now my administration is launching the CBP Home app to give people in our country illegally an easy way to leave now and self-deport voluntarily. If they do, they could potentially have the opportunity to return legally at some point in the future. But if they do not avail themselves of this opportunity, then they will be found, they will be deported, and they will never be admitted again to the United States, ever again. You're never coming in. Using the CBP Home app to leave the United States voluntarily is the safest option for illegal aliens, our law enforcement, It also saves the U.S. taxpayer dollars and valuable CBP and ICE resources. And all of those resources are necessary to focus on dangerous criminal aliens. And that's what we're focused on. The CBP Home app is now available free across all mobile app stores. And I encourage those who have violated our laws to use this option today. Do it right and come back into our country. Do it wrong and you'll never be back again.
You'll never be back again. Don't even think about coming back. And a lot of people are self-deporting. And this was a message that if you're bad and we catch you, and when I win the case, we're going to send you straight to a place like El Salvador, where this isn't America. And you're going to find that out. So the best thing for you to do is leave. And if you're here and your only crime is you crossed the border illegally and you haven't committed any crimes and you haven't done anything outside of that, you've kept your head down, you've worked, leave and apply and try to come in the legal way. And for some people, we talked about the Filipino consulate in Southern California that said the minute Trump won in really early December, early January, they were processing a lot of paperwork to help people get home because a lot of them were here if they were legal at one point, but their visa expired and it didn't get extended. And now they want to go home because they did work here legally, went to school here, and they want to have the opportunity to come back. So they're deporting themselves. And we do need a fix. I mean, ultimately, we need a fix when it comes to what's going on with our border, to what's going on, which is what we have right now, but also on the opportunities for people to come here, whether it be temporarily or a more open process in this country to get people here to work, because we do need workers. We also need another generation of people who are going to support the old generation who's going to be retiring soon when the great tsunami hits. We talk about Social Security. We're not producing babies. I mean, Ken and I, we talked about that yesterday, is that, more people over 40, women, are having kids. Younger people aren't. Hard to support a society when there's nobody working.
Yeah, when there's no people.
Greece is a perfect example. It's like everybody's retired, so who's paying for it? We're not quite sure. Could we borrow some money? Yeah, but you're going to have to do some stuff. We don't really want to do stuff. We want to drink ouzo and ride around on our scooters.
That's why Greece seems so chill. They're all retirees.
They are. They are. They are so. Have you ever been to Greece?
Never have, man. I haven't been outside of the U.S. of A.
Are you serious? We got to get you outside the U.S. of A.
That's a heart attack.
Man, I tell you what, the rest of the way, it's beautiful and it's amazing. And a lot of the world has the history we just don't have. We haven't been around that long.
Mm-hmm.
And you go and it's amazing. And then you also get a great appreciation of us.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But some of it, man, Greece is still, it's amazing and it's beautiful.
Oh, it is beautiful, man.
And it is also, they're not hard workers in a lot of ways. They don't. They're very, everything's like Spain, man. You're like, there's 3 hours a day in Spain where people just siesta. We're just not doing anything.
Yeah, and it's the middle of the day, right?
Yeah, and there's a month in Spain where everything is closed. They take a month off.
I hear Spain is the best country to go to. Like, I've heard from several people.
It is incredible.
They had the most fun in Spain.
It is incredive. Spain's, you know what? I've all the places I've traveled, I've been all over the place. And people are, you'd be surprised, especially when you get out of big cities around the world, and that includes America. It could be stuffy and people are grumbly and stuff. But when you get outside and you see a lot of the stuff, Bulgaria was amazing. Scotland, though. Glasgow.
Yeah.
The coolest place. Just beautiful. It was amazing. Spain is gorgeous. There's a lot of great places. Get outside of Paris. It's incredible. And the people are nice. Italy, beautiful. But, there's still some places you go there and it's just a big city. I mean, the architecture is different, but it's just like being in New York or L.A. or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but man, Spain is good. Portugal.
They don't have big trucks.
They don't. They don't have the big lorries, as they call them. So that's called a lorry, mate. Yeah, they not like we do. And it's really interesting too. You realize how long these buildings have been there because, like, I'm 5'10", But if you're 6'4", you're moving around. You're ducking everywhere. Really weird.
You mean I'd fit right in?
There we go, man. It's built for us, brother. That's what I'm saying. Coming up, a lot of other stuff to talk. We got some of your text messages. We'll talk a little bit about that. More on who knows what and what knows who. It's the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. Gold has been around forever. It has been a safety net forever. It has been everything for countries and people. And it's a great thing for you to have when it's talking about your retirement, your future, protecting what you have. In a world of potential inflation, a slowdown when it comes to everything in the economy, a weakening dollar, protect yourself and do it with Birch Gold. Text my buddies over there. Send the word Benson to 989898 today. They're going to get you out an investor kit, let you take a look at what it is they do. Think about how old gold is and how long it's been around. And there's a reason for that. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's a finite amount of it, and having a piece of it to diversify and protect yourself as a safety net is a smart thing to do. Birch does it right. No crazy hard sells, none of that stuff. Simple, easy thing to do. Text the word Benson to 989898 today. Get an investor kit. Let them show you what they can do for you in protecting all those things you've built for so long for you and your family. Text the word Benson to 989898 today for Birch Gold.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
The White House says President Trump has moved on from a minerals deal with Ukraine and suggesting something else. We've got that and more at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Elon Musk and his car company Tesla taking heat. The FBI now investigating what police call a targeted attack at Tesla in Las Vegas. Vehicles torched, several shots fired. Attorney General Pam Bondi called the vandalism against Tesla vehicles across the country nothing short of domestic terrorism.
Yeah, you got a guy running around in Vegas shooting Teslas and lighting things on fire, including the charging stations. Well, why are you doing that? because I don't like him. He's a meanie. So it's really. J.B. Pritzker came out, who's the governor of Illinois, one of the few governors of Illinois that's not in jail. And he came out and he said, what they're doing is cruelty. Well, what exactly are they doing? Well, Elon's cruel. Well, why is he cruel? Because he's trying to cut certain things? Yeah. Well, it would be great if we had all the money in the world because we have a genie, right? Like, I'm waiting. What are you guys waiting for? All right, guys, we were lying to you. You guys want to know what's in Fort Knox? It's a genie. We've been keeping it there. Whenever we need money, we make it seem like we don't have enough. We just go ask the genie and it produces more. It's not the way it works. Of course stuff's going to get cut. Because it's about trying to get ourselves in a position where, I don't know, we're not 80 trillion in debt. We're only 36. No, look at unfunded liabilities. It's the messenger they hate. The white South African, he's an American. He's also Canadian. So he could be mad at Trump for trying to make it the 51st state. I don't know. Does anybody know what Trump said today about Canada that got everybody so upset? They call them like maple eaters or something? It's anger because of who he is. The message, everybody says the same thing. You talk to a Democrat and you say, don't you think we waste a lot of money? Yeah, we waste a lot of money. There's some fraud and a lot of stuff out there. Of course there is. There is. But they want to do this, this, and this. And they want to cut, what was the thing the Social Security. They wanted to cut the telephone when it came to Social Security. So there's a phone system you go through and, elderly people, they like to use the phone system. And rural people would have trouble getting online. And they started going over all these, that's a bad idea. You don't have a grandkid that can help you? No. But in some offices you have to go into. They're trying to make it as hard as they can. They're looking to do what they can. Well, they want to take away Social Security. Social Security's not going to be there. That's what they're trying to tell you. It ain't going to be there. So what happens when it's not there? Everybody's going to whine, bitch, and moan. We didn't know it was going to happen. Yeah, you did. Everybody told you. And I blame that on a lot of people out there, not only on both sides of the aisle when it comes to politics, but both sides of the aisle when it comes to, the electric. Why? Because anytime any of these things are brought up, Medicare, Social Security, everybody throws a fit. Oh, no, not mine. Not mine. No, not yours. Of course not. No, you get, but everybody else. No, we've got to be adult enough to go, all right, well, what's the fix? It's broken. What's the fix? How do we get it done? What do we have to do? And nobody has the gall to do it. Trump can do it because this is his last term, unless Bannon thinks he's got another term. But this is his last term. And to take something on where you're going to try to fight not just the bureaucracy, but to really do something. And I think at some point they are going to try something with Social Security. But it doesn't mean you're not going to get your check. And it doesn't mean they're taking it away from you. It means down the road, people that are 30 and 40 have been paying into it, they're going to have a different look at it because they may have to do something else. Well, it's evil and bad that they tried. Or those people can get nothing. So what's the plan? Because the plan from the Democrats is more taxes, print more money, go further in debt. That's not a plan. That's not. That's suicide. That is. Coming up. And we got so much stuff still to get to. Might talk a little bit about what's going on at Vanderbilt with the DEI, the medical thing, a little bit wacky there. Got a couple other things as well. And I'm interested to hear what's going on because Ken's got all kinds of stuff in his nest because that's what he does. He doesn't even tell us some of the stuff. He teases, and then boom, it's amazing. We'll do that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
.2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are tracking the potential for severe weather tonight. Nothing like the risk and what happened on Saturday, but it is a level 1 out of 5 risk tonight. Looks like the window is going to be between 5 o'clock this afternoon and midnight. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. The man with the power to raise or lower borrowing costs has spoken.
The economy is strong overall and has made significant progress toward our goals over the past 2 years.
A familiar message from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, who announced interest rates will remain unchanged for now, but points out
surveys of households and businesses point to heightened uncertainty about the economic outlook.
He said the net effect of the Trump administration's significant changes to trade, immigration, regulation, and fiscal policy will matter for the economy.
That's Brian Clark reporting. Deportation flights fight. The White House pushing back today after a federal judge gave the Trump administration one more day to comply with his demands for information about deporting suspected Venezuelan gang members last weekend after he verbally ordered those flights be turned around.
The president has made it clear that he believes this judge in this case should be impeached, and he has also made it clear that he has great respect for the Chief Justice John Roberts, and it's incumbent upon the Supreme Court to rein in these activist judges.
Well, Judge James Boasberg says he now needs to determine whether his orders have been deliberately flouted and, quote, what the consequences should be. The White House says President Trump has walked away from a potential minerals deal with Ukraine and is now suggesting the U.S. help run their nuclear power plants. Trump and Ukraine President Zelensky spoke by phone today. Here's Selena Wang.
This is the first call we know of between Trump and Zelensky since that very public confrontation, that spat in the Oval Office just a few weeks ago. Now, we're still waiting on the official readout, but President Trump did make a short post on social media saying that the call was good and that things are still on track. But at this moment, we don't know where that U.S. and Ukrainian-backed 30-day ceasefire currently stands.
Selena Wang reporting. And the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Maybe your knee hurts or your back hurts. Get over to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Check them out online at painisbad.com. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley. Let me tell you, getting your life back. Imagine if you've spent the last few years and you've tried everything and you're exhausted and you're thinking to yourself, my back, I just can't do anything. I love the golf. I like to do all these things. Well, that's what the Wellness Institute of Nashville is all about. They're going to help you get back there. They're going to build a plan specifically with you. Dr. Mitchell is going to go over a condition, right? It's non-surgical decompression. They're going to go over it, and the spinal decompression, they show you, hey, this is what we can do to get you feeling better, to get you back living your life. They've got a great deal going on now. It is the Big 47 honor in honor of the 47th president. It's going on right now. And Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley are incredible. What they have there is amazing. It gets you up and moving around. That includes your spine and, yes, even your knees. And I was out dancing. Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. Thank you, Dr. Ashley. What are you waiting for? It's time to get moving. It's time to get grooving. As the weather starts to get better, you want to be out doing stuff. Don't let your back pain keep you from doing that. Call the Wellness Institute of Nashville now, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or go to painisbad.com. federal money. Everybody wants some, including the colleges. Vanderbilt being one of them. What are they doing? What are they hiding over there?
Yeah, and I wanted to show you guys some of those stencils that we have seen across campus and then also across Nashville. One right here on Pierce Avenue. It's on the sidewalk, and you can see it says, "What is VandyHiding.com?" That is the campaign, and a lot of it is raising questions about the medical center's transparency. But it is led by Consumers Research, which claims that Vanderbilt Medical password protected or deleted several online pages detailing its diversity, equity, and inclusion or DEI programs and climate goals.
Why do you have a climate goal? You're a college. Like, honestly.
It's at the top of her checklist.
Yeah. Whoa, what's your climate goal? I don't know. Like, just have a good party. I hope the climate's good here for that. Woo!
That's job interviews now. Every job interview you go to. What's your climate goal? Sir, I'm applying to a Wendy's.
I'm afraid of heights.
I don't like climate. Oh, climate. My bad. You know what's funny? It's and Brett Weinstein and several others have talked about it for years, and he was one of the first. If you guys don't know who he is, he's a great listen to. He's got his podcast and stuff, but he was the one. I think he wouldn't leave Evergreen College when they told him, day of, all whites have to leave, and he's all no. But he was talking about the fact that scientists have to go against their own beliefs to have these crazy things. Like, yes, you're a great scientist, but what are your climate goals? He's like, I want to teach, nuclear physics here. No. What's your statement of justice for people? Which, first of all, none of it matters. And in many cases, yes, the professors may believe it. The admin in some areas believe it. But for the most part, it's just, we have to do this because we're checking boxes. Vanderbilt's one of those checking boxes. Oh, well, they're getting rid of stuff and they're hiding it because of climate goal. Shouldn't be there. And DEI. It's the equity part. That's it. How do you measure equity? Well, we don't all do the same work. We don't have all the same skills. I bring a lot more than this person. That person may bring a lot more than me. So we should all get the same? Well, why would I even want to work hard at that point in time? If we're all going to finish at the same place, that's ridiculous. You and I both know that. Diversity is, I really think diversity is a strength. The strength is what binds us. That's our strength. What's our commonality? That's the strength. Diversity is just, it's something that's cool, it's neat, and when it's organic, it's great. But when it's forced, it's stupid. Continue.
They're now calling for a federal investigation into how the medical center uses federal funds. The campaign says that they want to know whether Vanderbilt is truly moving away from these initiatives or simply hiding them from the public view. Now, in response, the UMSC tells us that these changes were in part of a planned website update in response to the administration change, not an effort to conceal information. You can see that full screen. They did tell us in part, quote, VUMC is undertaking a thorough review of our programs to determine where revisions may be required to remain in compliance, including updating information on websites and other public platforms. Now, they have not directly addressed whether its federal funding is connected to some of these programs, but that is some more questions that we were working to try to get answers. And of course, we'll keep you guys updated on the latest.
The money is leaving. The federal funds are leaving. If you follow these insane things, money's going to leave. If you follow these wacky, crazy, lunatic things of DEI and all this kind of stuff, it's going to leave. The money's not going to be there. If you're leading with what is your justice statement? My statement would be, I thought Dave Justice was a good player. Right? But he got Halle Berry, so that was a win. Is that a good one? I like Western justice. College, man, it used to be that bastion of freedom where you went there. It was the first time you're away from your parents. Maybe your parents are a little conservative. You get to see some hippie dippies and some liberals and stuff. And maybe vice versa. Your parents were really liberal. You're going to hear another conversation that took place. Now it is a one-sided lunacy that was put there for years. And part of that, it was the fact that If you go back and look at the turn of the 1800s and 1900s, right? So one of the things that everybody's looking around going, we need a great system of higher education. So they started sending the academics over to study in Europe so they could strengthen the professors and schools they had. Well, they go over there, and what's around? Nothing bunch at that time, the Marxists, the communists, it all starts to grow from there. And they come back, and that has just continued to permeate over and over again throughout our higher education system. But now it's gotten out of control. It continues to do. Speaking of schools, we move from, yes, kids, college, higher education, to more book banning baloney.
More book ban controversy at Williamson County schools after the district decided to remove several books deemed inappropriate. A textbook used to teach AP psychology is now up for review.
So News 2's Audrey Mayer explains why some members think the book is not suitable for the classroom.
I've got 40 to 50 emails in the last week, and they all name one book, Myers AP Psychology.
That textbook, recommended by 9 out of 9 AP psychology teachers in Williamson County, is now a point of contention at the county's school board.
To me, when I see this recommendation that our teachers all chose the same textbook, it carries a significant weight.
But some school board members raised concerns with how the book explains topics regarding sexual orientation and gender identity.
First, it's not book banning. Can we all agree? Like, if you want to read a book about certain things, now these are AP, high school. How do you talk about certain things? But it's not book banning. And we should be able to, by the way, when you get to a certain level, you should be able to have a conversation about all of these things. Kids know what gay is. They know what trans is. They know that. Doesn't need to be pushed on them. But you can discuss it in a classroom setting with kids who are a little bit more mature because you're an AP, right? So last time I checked, you were a smarty pants. Not everything needs to be. It's bad. We better look at it. Is it telling people, this is a book, this is a psychology book. Is it telling people how to be gay? Is it telling them how to be, part of the trans community? Or is it talking about this person is this? Is it talking about the thing that goes into being part of the LGBT community, i.e., gender dysphoria and stuff like that? Or is it just saying, hey, let me tell you how to be gay and trans?
Just didn't reflect our community values.
Yeah, they were talking about gender identities and things like that, which I recognize as a mental health issue.
Ultimately, board members voted 7-3 to defer the discussion to a later date, so members have time to review the book's contents.
We can't always shield our kids from the world. I mean, it's out there, and that is going to be part, if they're going to a community college or wherever, that's going to be a part of the discussion, and that's the discussions that you need to have with your children at home.
Some board members argued teachers can skip sections that aren't a part of the district's curriculum.
If there are controversial things that you've seen in a textbook and they don't align with our standards, those are not aspects that will be taught in our classes.
In 2022, some Tennessee lawmakers tried to pass a state law to ban the teaching of LGBTQ issues in Tennessee public schools. That bill didn't pass.
I really encourage some of you to go and talk to your principals about the impact you're having on teacher morale and staff morale when you insert your own opinion over theirs on a lot of these things when it's not always an educated opinion.
Yeah, so go do that. It's not book banning. And yes, you know what? This is the problem when the world of extremes gets to put their stamp on everything. You can't have an honest conversation. Say, look, you know what? We're not going to teach people we're not going to teach kids how to have sex if they're gay or straight or any of this stuff. We can have, as they age appropriate to a certain level, and then we move on. Oh, there are gay people. This is a gay person. This is a person who's trans. We move on. It's part of this is a person who's of the Islamic faith. We're not teaching you about it. We're teaching you about the religion. We're not indoctrinating you. It shouldn't be this hard. But it becomes this hard because too many people make noises about too many things that are ridiculous. And no, you shouldn't shield your kids from everything. You got to let them grow a little bit. And there comes a point in time. Does a 5-year-old need to go to a drag show? The answer is no. Just like a 5-year-old doesn't need to go see a stripper, no matter how much Ken wants to take him.
Too expensive.
I beg your pardon?
Too expensive. They are. Yeah, they're super expensive. I'll tell you that right now. Try marrying some of them, Ken. No, my wife's not a stripper.
Good grief.
But they're just putting their way through school. It's just, again, common. Why can't we have common sense? Common sense is the least common thing I see anymore. Got some of your text messages coming through. By the way, Ken, traffic heads up.
Oh, let's hear it.
McCurry Lane is closed due to some dumbass trucker trying to swing an oversized load off the exit. Mike J.
Ooh, goodness, yeah, that could be a bad situation right there. That could be slow for a while today. 65 in McCrory Lane.
Oh, is it?
Is that what he's saying?
Yeah. Are you looking at it now?
No, I know that location, and that can be troublesome.
Man,
I'm not seeing anything right now.
You need to put dumbass in your traffic reports. Coming up next, dumbasses do stupid things, and all of a sudden, traffic.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. That's not 65. That's going to be 40. Yeah, looks like right here, yeah, it's got something. Interstate 40 westbound at McCrory Lane. The westbound right shoulder is blocked. It just says a disabled vehicle. But with the eyes that we have on our listeners, looks like they're giving us some more details than what the traffic department's giving me right now.
Well, that's why we have the best around. That's the eyes in the air and on the ground. Flying the drone around town. That's what we're doing here. Oh, that's what you need, man.
A drone.
Yeah, WTN Super Talk 99.7 traffic drone.
Yes, sir.
Oh, look at that. We're doing it all here. Coming up, Matt. I see him wandering around. Once again, got a jacket on, looking sharp. We will talk about that. Wrap up the show straight ahead. Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega 3, 6, 9, all this incredible stuff packed into an amazing supplement. You give your dog one time a day. Scoop it right on top of your dog's food. Help brings your dog's food to life. Your dog's food is dead food, and you'll see a difference. Within 90 days, your dog's life is going to change tremendously. It's going to help you with vet bills, especially if your dog's got issues with their skin or their fur. First 30 days, coat, shinier. You're going to see a marked improvement with their energy levels. By day 60, improved joint mobility, and their coat, as it gets thicker, it's not going to shed so much, which is awesome. And then by day 90, heart health is improved, immunity's improved, they're moving around, they are living their best lives. Try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens. It's not going to cost you anything. It's $20 value, but shipping, it's a few bucks. Put them to the test and watch what happens. ruffgreens.com. Use my code Chad. Ruffgreens.com, code Chad. Playing the hits. By the way, you did a great job. A couple of people said last night you were awesome.
Did they now?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
You know what the job of a MC is to just get the hell out of the way. That's the way I feel. Say something pithy, maybe mildly funny, and then get off stage.
Yeah, they said Clay and Travis got up, but you did a great job, and you were amazing.
I thought Clay did a great job, too.
Did he?
Yeah. I mean, just talking about COVID and and I didn't realize this. Now, he's in our world now, but he was a sports guy for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And he and I actually talked offline a little bit about this. And he told the story that COVID really confirmed in him the desire to transition to more political-based talk. Because he recognized, because it affected the sports world so much too.
Yes.
And he just saw the lies in real time, that suddenly when night falls, COVID doesn't exist anymore, or suddenly when you get to a table at a restaurant, COVID doesn't exist anymore, these types of things, and how government was trying to take over control in the sports world as well as the political arena. And that was kind of his transition into our world.
I remember.
It's kind of interesting.
It was interesting. I saw Buck when I was flying back a couple weeks ago. He was flying to Miami or something.
I've never met Buck. He strikes me as you tell me if I'm wrong or not, Chad Benson. He strikes me as a little fellow.
No.
No?
6'2".
Okay, see? There you go.
Yeah,
That's what happens.
6'1". He's just,
That's what happens when
he
you
looked
judge
like
on TV.
He hadn't slept in 2 days.
Yeah.
I walked by
I look like
and he
that
looked
all
at
the
me and I looked at him and I go, what's happening? And he goes, I know that voice, Chad. And I said, how you doing, man? He goes, I'm flying back to Miami, dude. I'm beat. I said, okay, cool. But yeah, I mean, they're nice,
Yeah, it's good guys. Good guys. But it was a good time. A lot of, every Republican in Davidson County was there. That's what about 200.
Any exciting news?
No, it was funny, though, because it's like the unspoken. This was the year of the unspoken. I was running around causing trouble like, oh, man, we're going to get any big announcements tonight? And, of course, not. And everybody was saying, wow, we've got like Congressman John Rose is here and Senator Marsha Blackburn is here. And, those are the two big names.
All the worst kept secrets in one place.
Right, in one building. And I said, well, this year's not the year. Next year's the year when all the announcements have been made and we've started throwing slings and arrows and we start casting aspersions.
Yeah.
I love it when it's aspersion casting season.
And like one of those things where I'm not going to come if he's there. So tell him he's got to leave early or vice versa.
Right. And are we, better, who gets to talk last?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Or first.
I'm the headliner. You are the opening act.
Right. But no, Congressman Rose was there. Andy Ogles was there. A lot of people were asking me, are you going to talk to Andy Ogles? I did talk to Andy Ogles. I made a joke about the FBI.
Did you?
Yeah,
what did you say?
That's fine. No, I just said, consider that Congressman Andy Ogles is here. We can, all consider this conversation to be recorded by Federal Bureau of Investigation, and we might all get called to testify. I didn't use the testify line, but I chickened out right at the last minute. But
oh, my Lord.
But it was a good time.
Did you ask if anybody had a spare cell phone for him?
That's right. Hey, Andy. Do you remember our number? I'll write it down for you. Piece of paper.
It was. Did he get up and preach a third term for Trump?
No. I mean, he talked about some of his actions in D.C. that Trump was very supportive of. He talked about Donald. He gave a nice speech. John gave a nice. I thought Marsha crushed it.
Oh, really?
I thought Marsha Blackburn crushed it last night. And it was just she seemed very calm, at ease. Took the mic, got out from behind the podium, just kind of walked around and just talked off the cuff. I thought she did a great job.
Again, these are all auditions.
It's no question.
No question.
They know what they're doing, and
Absolutely.
we'll all know at some point in the
Even
next.
though we've all kind of pretended to announce it,
right?
Roundabout way. What do you got coming up?
We'll talk a little Trump. We'll talk a little judicial activism. We'll talk a little Metro Council. I think LPR's license plate readers, which are a little controversial, are dead in Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to talk about that too.
Oh, it's all coming up right here. Matt Murphy, Straight Ahead. Chad Benson Show, bidding you adieu on this beautiful Wednesday. Super Talk 99.7.